Sir, now you have explained when the liability arises. Now, students have queries regarding how the payment of service tax is to be made, when the payment is to be made, and how the service tax is calculated.
It's okay. For this, we have to go to valuation scheme. First thing is how to value, how to compute service tax. So let me be brief because we cannot be very elaborate. Section 67 read with valuation rules 2006 we have to refer to. And again, section 67(1) says if it is in lump sum amount, if it is in money in monetary terms, it is the cash value, this is the gross value. If it is not in monetary value, suppose it is in kind, or it is partly in cash and partly in kind. In such a case, you convert it into money equivalent, that is the gross value. You should be very careful. Here under service tax is payable on gross value, unlike your Income Tax Act. Under PGBP, you see, you pay service tax on net taxable income, but here it is not possible. You have to pay service tax on gross value. They are very particular about it. For example, a chartered accountant goes to conduct audit outside his place. Say for example, a chartered accountant Delhi goes to say Jaipur with his team to conduct audit there. And there are traveling expenses. And there are incidental expenses, boarding, lodging also for that day. And he had a bill of, say, 1 lakh plus service tax. So he has to pay service tax on 1 lakh total. He cannot deduct the expenses towards traveling or towards data entry payment made to data entry operator, or boarding, lodging expenses, or expenses incurred in course of providing service, because that is not their gross value. So remember this particular point. Suppose the service tax is not mentioned specifically, section 67(2). It is specified in lump sum, not shown separately. Suppose you go to a laundry shop, dry cleaner, he may simply put his invoice with, because it's a retail invoice, he can do that. Put an invoice of 550 including service tax. Something like that, 550 inclusive of taxes, like that. So 550, if the service tax is not mentioned specifically separately, then it is to be taken as value plus service. It has two components. Means in this particular case 550 is equal to 100 plus 12.36. It is equal to 112.36. So to find out service tax, obviously reverse calculations. 12.36 divided by 112.36 into 550. Like that you have to calculate and find out, because you have to take it as inclusive of service tax. Sometimes they don't mention, negligent. They may not be aware that service tax is payable. Even in that case, the amount is segregated this way only. Okay? So mainly this is one way. The other way is when you are not able to ascertain service tax, if it is not ascertainable, rules are there to guide you. Rule 3, 4, 5, 6 of course. And Rule 3 is the main thing, where it says whatever be the service charge you are collecting on similar services, you collect that way. You pay service tax similarly. If similar services are not provided, means you specify yourself, but that should not be less than the cost of providing services. This is mechanism, how to ascertain, calculation part. And other things are also there, Rule 2A, 2B, 2C, etc. that you have to go through in detail. Particularly Rule 2A is talking about works contract, etc. And then how about payment and due date? Payment due date in case of individual sole proprietor, LLP or partnership law, it is quarterly from the due date. It is quarterly means by 5th or 6th of the next quarter. For example, a quarter of January, February, March. If it happens to be March, it is 31st March. It cannot be 5th or 6th. Other than that, Suppose a quarter ending April, May, June. By July 5th, you have to pay. But by now, e-payment is mandatory, you know. So e-payment is mandatory now. Electronic payment means payment through net banking. So in such a case, if you paid 1 lakh or more in the previous year or in the current year as service tax, so paid means including utilization of silver credit, then you have to pay through net banking only. 1 lakh was the limit. I know for the next session, those who are appearing for June, that is also not there. It is mandatory for everybody. E-payment is mandatory for all, irrespective of their turnover payment limits. Whereas for the December examination, December 2014 examination, those who paid 1 lakh or more in the previous or current year, they have to make payment through internet only. That is e-payment. So if it is e-payment, obviously it is 6th instead of 5th. But as far as March is concerned, it is always 31st March and no relaxation. That is all. But what about others? Anybody other than sole proprietor, individual or partnership firm? For them it is monthly. Monthly means payable every month. Monthly by 5th or 6th as the case may be. 5th is not there, 6th is there. Right? That is about e-payment. Right.
So now moving on to VAT, there are many questions on VAT as well. So we'll leave the question related to service tax here only, and the students who are having their queries related to service tax can now email them at academics acedemacis @icsi.edu.
You can write this. Better you write on the board. Note down. But let there be direct queries also. Let anybody put queries. That should be wonderful. Academics, though there are 2 C's, only one C. Academics.
Now the queries related to VAT.
Excuse me, is it double C? Academics. Academics@icsi.edu. So from this you can avail.
Now the first question related to VAT is, what is meant by VAT white paper? There is a white paper on VAT. So the students are asking, what is white paper?
It is not a simple and easy white paper. It's a public document. In fact, white paper, if you say, it is a public document through which any government or any public authority will make it public the policy matters on a particular issue. It may be political issue, it may be of academics, or it may be of anything. It may be tax, or it may be anything. Earlier, POTA, when the POTA was being introduced, there was a white paper. There was a pressure to to issue a white paper also. Why you are introducing POTA? And similarly, government, when it wants to say something, when it wants to express its policy on a particular, its stand or policy on a particular subject, then it will issue a white paper. In this particular context, Government of India, the Empowered Committee, Empowered Committee under the leadership of Asim Das Gupta, then Finance Minister of West Bengal, all finance ministers of the states formed what is known as Empowered Committee. They prepared what is known as, with a lot of unanimity, white paper. White paper means a policy. How they want to proceed with VAT. What is VAT? What is the working of VAT? How they want to proceed with it? What are the provisions? What are the schemes? What is the design? All these things they have provided in the white paper, and it was released by Finance Minister, the then Honorable Finance Minister, Dr. P. Chidambaram. So, in this white paper, they have spelt out the policy on VAT. You know, based on that white paper only, it was issued in January 15, I think, January 15, 2005. Only in 2005 only, majority of the states in India introduced VAT. So they simply released the white paper and they introduced in their respective state governments, introduced VAT. So let me also tell you, all the state governments modeled their act on this white paper only. Whatever they specified in the white paper, on this model, on this basis only, they have enacted their respective VAT acts in their states, with slight variations, of course, wherever relaxations were given. Secondly, for your examination, from your examination point of view, let me tell you, you are not expected to study any particular state VAT act. Suppose a student in Delhi need not study Delhi VAT Act. A student in Andhra Pradesh need not study any AP VAT Act. Whatever you study, whatever is there in your syllabus, curriculum, whatever it is the concepts of VAT. But these concepts of VAT have been derived from the white paper only. So whatever contents are given in the white paper are very, very relevant and important for your examination. That is the policy document on VAT, and questions are also from white paper only. Concepts developed, not the question relating to a particular state VAT Act. You understand what is white paper?